Hello class. Today we're going to be working on section 9.2, the area of a triangle. So let's start off by copying down the triangle I have below labeled A, B, and C. And if you note, this triangle is different from the ones we've been working with recently. This triangle is not a right triangle. So this is not a right angle here. Please do not draw that in there that way. So make sure you label it that way. And also note that we don't have our sides labeled yet. So we're going to do that with our corresponding colors versus the corresponding angles. So this is going to be labeled side A, and this is going to be labeled side B. Notice that the sides are lowercase, and this is going to be side C. So let's try and find the area of this triangle. And typically, if you remember what the area formula is, your area is going to simply be one side times the other, so length times width, let's say. Okay? And in this case, we need to have some actual dimension for this, which is going to be some base times the height. You actually might know it as, for a triangle, as half base times the height. So in this case, we're going to be using that for this triangle. Unfortunately, we do not have a height yet, but we're going to just, in this triangle in the way it is, we're going to drop one down. And I'm going to use a different color here. Let's use pink, let's say. It's not exactly the same pink, so we're going to do a different one. And I'm going to drop it here. This creates a right angle here, and this is going to be a height h. This height h now is really good for us to start dealing with our height over here. So that's great to have the height, but we don't necessarily know what that is yet. Well, you could use trigonometry to solve that and figure out the area of the triangle. And that's what we're going to do now. So the first step is to really isolate what we're looking at for a height. If we're isolating this side of the triangle and saying this is angle C, and we have height here as the opposite side to angle C, and this is the hypotenuse A, we can actually state that we have here sine of C, so opposite is equal to opposite over hypotenuse, and the opposite is the height, and the hypotenuse here is A. Please note that this h here is not the hypotenuse, it's referencing the h here, which is height. I'm actually going to write that over there, and let's do this to correspond. Okay. So our h is the unknown here, so if we're going to be trying to plug this in for h, we're going to isolate it and say h is now equal to sine of angle C multiplied by side A. So what we'll do from here is take this and substitute it in right here where we've highlighted this other h. So let's substitute everything in, and I'll do this in, I guess this is salmon colored. A is equal to 1/2, don't get rid of that one, the base is still there, and now we're going to be multiplying sine of angle C times A. Normally it can be rewritten as 1/2 AB sine of C. Remember, that's angle C, not side C. And that's the area of a triangle. Actually, I like to put a little triangle there to say that's the area there of that specific polygon. Alright, let's try working on a question. So we have a question here that states, if I used a different reference angle, so instead of angle C, we're going to be using maybe angle A or angle B, how would that affect my area of a triangle formula? So this one here, or the base one's this one, and what would change? So take a moment and try to see what you could do on your own, and continue the video when you're ready. So in going forward, you should see a few different steps, and you should get some of the 8 different angle formulas. They are definitely different, but they are overall, their makeup is very similar. They're just substitutions of different parts. So let's write this in as area, let's say K, we'll call area K here, is actually equal to, and we'll rewrite this first one we had, 1/2, and I'm doing it in blue because that was our angle, blue color we chose for C earlier, sine of C. So that's what we have already. And now you should have gotten that you still have this half in there, this multiplier. With now, if I'm using, let's say, the angle B, sine of B, that the other two sides are being utilized to multiply it, and we get AC times sine of B. And let's just have that equal to 1/2, and now we're going to have, instead of AB, we're going to have, in this case, the angle is sine of A, so we're going to have sides B times C multiplied that sine of A, the angle. And that is our relationship. Notice that they're all giving you the area of a triangle, and they're all equal. So let's put this to the test and do an example problem. So for this question here, we're going to be looking at finding the area of the triangle, and this triangle given here has an angle 73 degrees in between these two sides, 4 inches and 7 inches. Now if we refer back to our past method, this should really actually work out very nicely for this problem. So take a moment, you can feel free to mark up your diagram and give it a shot. Alright, so if you're a non-believer who doesn't think that this can work, well, first off I want to measure where this height's coming from. I can just take this and dot this across, and this becomes my height with my perpendicular here, and I still have 73 as an angle I'm referencing for this smaller right triangle right here. So I'm going to use this in terms of, this is now going to be sine, so my area is going to be equal to 1/2, and I'm not going to even pick the sides yet, but I know I'm going to have sine of 73 degrees. Well, that angle is in between these two sides. These two sides border this angle, and if you notice on the last few examples when we marked it up, those will be the ones we refer to. Remember, this is going to be our base for the 1/2 base times the height, and this is going to be referenced to finding height. So we're going to plug those in, 4 inches times 7 inches. Try not to forget your units because units are important. And you're going to get, actually this should be approximate, not equals. So we're going to be rounding here. Feel free to use your calculator. You should get an answer that's approximately 13.4 inches squared. Remember, this is area, so it should be a squared unit. And yeah, this is how you use or find the area of triangles, especially when they're not right triangles. So I hope you enjoyed today's lesson, and I look forward to seeing you next time.